Williams from the corner. Oh, he can knock down threes, Kenny. Now he's going to go back door. Oh, what a feed. Feed to Ume, who goes up for the slam. Devin Lilly drives, pulls up, fires home a two.
I'll tell you, man, you cannot underestimate the hustle this big man gives you. Strap in your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on.
Inside Dakota High School, I'm Brad Fetters for Chippewa Valley Cable Television, joined once again by Jeff Vitale. MAC basketball here tonight between our Dakota Cougars and the visitors, the L'Anse Creuse Lancers. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the visitors from L'Anse Creuse. Number 1, Donovan Weatherly. Number 2, Chad Jacobs. Number 5, Amari Brownlee. Number 21, Julius Wilson. And number 22, senior captain Karan Williams. As for the Dakota Cougars, coming in with a record of 6-9 under the guidance of Paul Toko. The 5 on the floor to start will be number 0, Calvin Watson. Number 1, VJ Jackson. Number 2, Owen Colpert. Number 14, Nate Coletto. And number 30, senior Lorenzo Alfred. This L'Anse Creuse Lancers squad, Jeff, coming into play tonight with a 12-4 record. 6-4 in the MAC Gold. They averaged 65.8 points per game while only giving up 48. And this is a L'Anse Creuse Lancers team that have put up some impressive numbers, especially on the offensive end.
Well, one thing you got to understand, though, about this team is that they put up some big numbers against some extremely lesser opponents. 121 points against Crockett School.
East Point.
It was, and then that 90-some on East Point. When you look at some of their scores in the MAC Gold, they look a little bit more down to earth. But they've shown it. If you look at all their scores, this team is capable of putting some points on the board. So if you're the Cougars, are coming off a tough loss to Grosse Pointe South, played better basketball, looked really good in the game, down 11, came back, took the lead in the fourth quarter, just couldn't hold on. This is a game that you're coming in. This is senior night for them. Some of them playing the last games on this floor they're ever going to play. It's all about playing for pride tonight and going out a winner. And that's what tonight's about for the Cougars.
They have 6 seniors that are currently being honored for the start of tonight's ball game. And that's why you're seeing Nate Coletto getting the start here tonight for head coach Paul Toko.
Yeah, we've seen, last year we were at the final home game for Chippewa Valley. Coach Smith started all the seniors. So, again, a chance to honor some of these guys that have really put in a lot of work. And unfortunately, you don't get to see a lot of them in the game, some of these guys. But the work they do in practice, a lot of the stuff they do behind the scenes, not a lot of people get to see. And it's nice that they're getting to be honored with that. Obviously you got a few of these guys going to play football at the next level. Owen Colpart, we saw what he did on the football field, but what he did on Tuesday night against Grosse Pointe South, 18 in the second half, literally put his team on his back. He's had a special 4 years here, so it's a chance to honor all those guys for all the great things they've done and let all the underclassmen on the bench show that, hey, this is what you get for really putting your time in here at Dakota High School.
Yeah, when Colpert ended up with 21 points in that basketball game, including 4 triples as he kind of willed them back in that game. Ultimately, they fell short against the Blue Devils. So we'll turn it over to the public address announcer. We'll finish up senior night festivities. And when we come back, the opening tip of this basketball game. Welcome back inside the gymnasium here at Dakota High School. Cougars, Lancers. Lancers in their road gray jerseys. Blue trim, Dakota in their home whites.
If you're the Lancers, Brad, you want to turn this game into an absolute track meet. You don't want to get into a half-court battle with the Cougars, who have a little bit more size advantage. Look for number 22, Karan Williams. He's their horse, about 17.5 points a game. Remember watching him last year against Chippewa. He's an absolute baller. You're going to watch him get to the basket. He can finish at the rim. He's got a nice mid-range game. He's a complete ball player.
Karan Williams wears double deuces, number 22. He's going to be going to Grand Valley State University next year.
I was just going to say, you really got a kind of a special heart, your place in your heart for this kid.
Yeah, I'm a proud Laker alum myself, so cool to see him making the trip over to Allendale. Lancers' very first possession of this basketball game. Three-pointer chucked up, no good. Donovan Weatherly misses short. Kelvin Watson in the corner, defers back to Alfred. VJ Jackson at the very top of this offensive possession. Fires the pass over to Coletto. Changes directions. Finds Watson in the corner once again. Yo-yo's the basketball in his left hand. Jackson for three, no good. Defensive rebound brought down by Weatherly. Up ahead to Brownlee. Brownlee into the corner for Jacobs. Three-pointer too strong. Battle for it underneath the basket. Last touch by the Cougars. Lorenzo Alfred out of bounds. Possession will stay with Lance Creuse.
Yeah, Mari Brownlee doing some dirty work inside, kind of keeping that ball alive there. Nice little inbounds play for the Lancers.
Chad Jacobs' first bucket of the night. He, too, one of the senior captains for head coach George Woods. VJ Jackson answers with a triple.
A nice open jumper there. He took that with some confidence. They're going to need that. This team, they're playing a team that loves to jack the three up from everywhere on the floor. You're going to need to hit a few of these tonight to stay in the game, and pull. And if you need to, pull away.
Donovan Weatherly kicks it out. Drive, pull-up jumper is good. Amari Brownlee, the 6'1" junior.
Yeah, nice job of hanging in the air there, knocking down that tough baseline jumper, that mid-range game, which you don't see a lot of high school ball players have. That was a beautiful jump shot.
Coletto drives baseline, fires a pass out to Colpert. Drives into the lane, fires up a shot, no good. Alfred with the rebound. Ball comes squirting loose out to VJ Jackson. Pull up, 16-footer's good. Jackson feeling it in the early parts of this game.
Yeah, he's off to a great start, dude, and knocking down those open range jump shots, and right there, got into the lane, hit a little 9-10 footer.
Karan Williams works his way around a screen, being guarded there by VJ Jackson. Defers back to Weatherly, who directs traffic. Looking for the cross-court pass, will put the ball on the deck. Corner, pocket three, too strong, long there. And it's the Cougars trotting out now. Pull up 15-footers, block. Good clean block there by Wilson. Staying with it, Colpert. His shot, no good. Karan Williams quickly across the timeline. High dribble. Crosses it over. Kelvin Watson extends the defense out. Triple try off the backboard, no good. Kelvin Watson comes down the defensive rebound. A little 3-on-2. Pass too low for Coletto and out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a nice look down the floor. Just unfortunately, that bounce pass kind of got a little too close to his teammate there. We're going out of bounds. That's a tough pass to handle, but a nice look. Cougars in transition early. Kind of something we didn't see against them the other night. Something they probably saw in film. Thinking they can really push the action a little bit and attack this Lance Creuse team.
Wholesale changes for the Lancers. Salim Fleming, Quincy Dorsey, and D'Angelo Rogers into the game for Lance Creuse. There's Karan Williams' first points of the night. Three different Lancers have factored into the scoring. They lead it 6-5. Coletto with the ball fake. That's a little bit of a mismatch there. He's given up a few inches on his defender, and it's Lorenzo Alfred that twists and turns his way through the lane, lays it up, lays it in.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to kick that back to the top of the key and just made a nice little spin move to the basket and hit it nice off the glass, and Cougars forced a turnover on a carry.
Quincy Dorsey called for the carry. The 5'8" junior turns the ball over. Cougars back in front, 7-6 for 21 left to go in the first. Jackson, chest pass, Kelvin Watson. Slices, dices, throws one up, got fouled, will shoot 2.
Checking in too is Alan Browning, who just checked in, another senior. So Coach Toko trying to get his seniors in here on senior night.
You look at this matchup on paper and you see a Mac Red versus Mac Gold matchup. Mac Gold Lancers moving up quite a bit to take on the Cougars here tonight. Normally you would say, well, this game is going to be a blowout, but L'Anse Creuse, to their credit, already has a Mac Red victory this year as they beat their arch rivals, L'Anse Creuse North, earlier on this season.
Yeah, no, this team all year plays pedal to the metal, and if you don't come ready to play, this team will knock you off. They are a very capable team. Still a fairly young team, only a few seniors on this team. This is mostly a junior-laden team with a couple sophomores and a freshman.
Backcourt violation, mistake there by the junior.
He's looking down. You see that line there? That's called half court, son.
Well, maybe it's because he's got 2 different colored shoes on.
That's a style nowadays. That also makes me glad I played when I played.
Alan Browning doing the same thing for Dakota. That was a 49-47 victory over L'Anse Creuse North all the way back in December 10th, second game of the season. But still, that's a building block type win for a program like L'Anse Creuse.
Yeah, I mean that's the equivalent to Chippewa Valley beating Dakota. Same thing. So that's the 2 high schools in the district, and look at that move.
Karan Williams, as good as advertised.
Yeah, well, that's why Grand Valley likes him so much. He is athletic as heck, and there you see quick pressure on the turnover, get the ball right back, and another possession for the Lancers.
Mentioned this is a team that averages nearly 66 points per game.
66 is a lot of points, and again, we talked about this yesterday with Grosse Pointe South. That's an average. So, I mean, they put up some, we mentioned the 121. Folks, that was not an overtime game. That was regulation.
Chad Jacobs bullying his way in, yes, with a running clock. And that victory was over Detroit Crockett, Midtown Science and Medicine.
And I saw that, there was some highlights on Twitter, and I thought the score was a misprint. I went and looked up at several other places, and it was the same score. There was like 7 to 8 LU dunks in the game. It was a highlight reel on the Twitter. So.
And then their other big victory was over East Point, 96-24.
Oh.
Alfred, coast to coast, lays it up. It's hacked and will shoot 2.
Brad, 96 and 121 will definitely help your scoring average out.
Yes, the Pistons struggle to put up those numbers.
They don't put up that many points. It's so bad I can't even watch it anymore. I'd rather come watch this.
First freebie is good for Alfred. And Julius Wilson and Salim Fleming back into the game for L'Anse Creuse.
Well, it looks like Coach Toko is going to ride out his seniors here in this first quarter. And like I said, they've done a nice job so far. 14 points in the quarter with not the normal starting 5 you see for the Cougars. So the seniors playing hard on senior night.
Whoa, what a move by Chad Jacobs, working his way around the defender. Jacobs a quick 6.
Yeah, that's a nice spin move and a great finish at the rim. I thought he was going to dunk it. He was up so high there.
Chad Jacobs, a tight end, a very talented tight end. In fact, he's going to take his talents to Lake Erie next year. We'll play football at Lake Erie.
Well, they had a pretty good football team and a good football season over there again this year too. So, L'Anse Creuse High School on the rise. They've kind of dipped and then kind of up and down a little bit over the last few years, but has a pretty nice senior group this year and a heck of a junior class coming up. So,
yeah, you mentioned how young this roster is. Just 4 seniors, 8 juniors on the varsity roster, a sophomore, and get this, 2 freshmen taking up roster spots for George Woods.
Yeah, it's a 16-man roster, which is kind of a big roster for a varsity team, but again, a lot of young guys, so coach is really going to lean on his young guys a little bit, give them some varsity experience, and be ready to compete really big in a few years.
Alan Browning's pass, too tall for Nathan Washburn, look out. And Karan Williams hangs, gets hit, and will shoot 2. Kind of made his way into the student section there. Apparently that black rope that's kind of sectioning off the student sections is just a suggestion tonight?
Yeah, it looks like it. They look like they're quite a ways past the rope there, and the one fan who got a little bit too close to Williams kind of got shoved back by his classmates there, basically telling him to get away. So.
Yeah, Karan Williams really didn't return the favor in terms of dabbing up the student section.
Yeah, I know, he ignored it, as someone who's probably going to the next level should. You know, I'm sure he's heard quite worse in many other places this year. So, you know, when you get a guy coming in with that kind of a pedigree, although the opposing places tend to try to get in your head, and they just don't realize what kind of level those guys are at to be going to the next level to play college basketball, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm sure the fans in Big Rapids and Saginaw are going to give him an earful the next 4 years. Little hesitation dribble, firing up a three, no good. Colpert hasn't caught fire quite yet. Jackson has. They'll go over to Colpert, though, on the right wing side. Gets the screen from Nathan Washburn. Colpert in between the legs. Tried to find Jackson. Kept alive there momentarily by Wilson, but they'll say he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, nice hustle. They try to really deny those wings and try to get some of those steals, which that's the only way you put up those kind of points, folks. I mean, you don't put up those kind of points sitting in a 2-3 zone waiting for the other team to miss.
15-14, Dakota out in front. Matt Wooder's going to run the point now.
Washburn's in the game, Barra.
Wooders draws a double team, and he'll go right back to the line. So fouls starting to pile up here for Lance Creuse.
The other night it was kind of the other way around, and now tonight we're kind of seeing Dakota on the favorable side of the whistles.
Yeah, a little bit of a home whistle perhaps, but that's a fourth team foul now on the Lancers. Sends Wooders to the line.
But they are taking the ball to the basket a little bit more, and you tend to get more foul calls that way. When you're shooting a lot of outside jump shots, you're not going to get a lot of foul calls because usually that's not where a lot of fouls happen.
It is a much more aggressive offense thus far out of the Cougars here tonight than their game plan against Grosse Pointe South. Empty trip there for Wooders, and it's going to go the way of the Lancers. And they're going to get Owen Colpert for a foul, his first, team second. A little bit of a cold start from the line for the Cougars, just 3 of 6 from the charity stripe. Jump stop there by Brownlee, couldn't do anything with it, so we'll go back to Karan Williams. That's a good option. And he hoists from deep, off the back heel, no good. Offensive rebound controlled by the Lancers.
And that was more of a jump stop and a hop that the referees missed, Brad.
Weatherly tries the crossover dribble. Watson not backing down.
The 77 referee said so.
Ron Williams coming out to supply a little bit of a pick. A little ISO now for Mari Brownlee.
The only thing he didn't do was finish that. That was a heck of a move.
Another offensive rebound by the Lancers. Fall-away jumpers, no good. Washburn comes down with it. Goes over to Wooders. 40 seconds, plenty of time for the Cougars to set up their offense. Bounce pass in the corner for Barra, right back out to Wooders. Gonna try to explore the right-hand side, now changes directions. Draws the double team, Washburn, hesitation, he traveled.
Yeah, after the travel, then he got hammered, but surprised they didn't try to get him on the block. He's got a 7-inch advantage on the man guarding him, and they didn't try to get the ball to him at all. So I'm sure that's something Coach Toko is going to look at to do as the game progresses, because Lance Creuse has nobody to deal with him inside.
Well, Lance Creuse is going to take a 30-second timeout. Yeah, this is a Lancer team that really does not have a lot of size. In fact, their tallest athlete on their roster is 6'4". That's Karan Williams. Right. So, with that being said, obviously the Cougars could explore that post presence down low if they so choose throughout the rest of this basketball game.
Right, which is why if you're the Lancers, you want to get this game into a run and gun, a track meet. You want to play up and down the floor at just a blistering pace and kind of run this Dakota team into the ground. You know, because as we've seen throughout the year, the bench sometimes doesn't just go as deep. So, you know, you saw already 5 in, 5 out. You know, he's bringing at least 10 guys in the game. You got to get this game up and down the court, playing basically track season, which is right around the corner.
Sure is. Hard to believe basketball is regular season's nearly over, as we'll turn our attention to MAC Red White crossover tournament time. We'll talk a little bit about that as this game progresses. Brownlee gets cut off. Bounce pass over to Weatherly. Had a hard time handling it. Gonna have to hoist. This will count if it goes. In and out. That will do it. First quarter in the books. The Cougars in front of the Lancers by the score of 15-14. VJ Jackson and Kelvin Watson leading the way for the Cougars with 5 points apiece. Ron Williams and Chad Jacobs with 6 points apiece for the Lancers.
And Williams might be in double digits if he had a couple of those bombs that rolled around the rim, fell. You can see he's got some range, but I'll tell you what, if you're Coach Toko, you want to keep him out there all night long shooting those shots. Those are low percentage shots.
This Lance Creuse Lancers team 5-2 on the road. They have won 3 of their last 4, Jeff. As for Dakota, it obviously has been a struggle this season, and I don't think anyone expected that this year, but you can kind of see why. The amount of talent they lost from last year's Mac Red title-winning team. It's going to be a little bit of a kind of a bounce-back season, a little bit of a rebuild, perhaps. I know they don't like using that word probably here at Dakota. There's really not rebuilding that goes on. I mean, tradition never graduates, that sort of thing, but they took their lumps this year. But they could still make a lot of noise come district time.
Well, you know, the struggles this year have been, for Dakota, have been on the offensive end, and, you know, they haven't open shots. Just at times they've had a hard time knocking them down, and, you know, just there's nothing you can do about that. And you're in the right spot. You're playing the game the right way. Shots aren't falling, and, you know, with the way the Mac Red has been this year, with as good as Roseville and Grosse Pointe South has been.
Ron Williams walked right into that 3, and he gives the Lancers the 17-15 lead.
Yeah, a little closer in the threes. You've seen him pull up, and he knocked that down pretty easy.
Mike Wooters kind of found himself wide open at the free throw line, but instead decided to pass out. You mentioned the Dakota offense as there's a turnover, a little miscommunication between cutters. This is a Cougar offense that's averaging just 47 points per game.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, you know, turnovers. Sometimes just some really cold shooting. A couple of times this year, they've been under that 35-point mark, which is, you know, very un-Dakota-esque, if that's even a word. But I was never an English major, Brad, so yeah, I mean, they're going to have to try to find some way. As we're right around the corner, we start up the MAC tournament soon, then boom, right into districts, and their district is brutal. We made mention of that on Tuesday night's broadcast with Port Huron Northern, who is just lighting the rims up right now, as well as Port Huron Lance Creuse North, and somebody else.
This is somebody else. Well, I can tell you who's in their district. It's Anchor Bay.
Anchor Bay.
Lance Creuse North, Port Huron, and Port Huron Northern.
My man Jay Seletsky over there took over. So yeah, I mean that is.
He took over at Anchor Bay.
Yeah, that is a brutal district, and there's a lot of good teams there. And some team is going to have to work hard to come out of that district with the W, because there are no easy games in that district. Oh, what a play! What a play!
Karan Williams making sure that went off a Cougar player.
He was not going to get that, so he looked, before he went up for the ball, he looked down and found out where the Cougars were and just gently threw it right off their tennis shoes. What a job of keeping possession for his team by Karan Williams.
Jay Seletsky, former coach of Lance Creuse North.
Long time.
He's accustomed to Mac Red basketball. That's a really good hire there for Anchor Bay. I know he probably wanted to be closer to his job.
Well, he's an elementary school principal over in Anchor Bay. So.
Yep. Anchor Bay's got themselves a couple really good head coaches, not only in basketball but football as well.
I got his daughter Ava on my 8th grade basketball team, and she may be here next year. We'll see. Who knows? Anchor Bay's girls team's pretty solid. Unfortunately, they're in the MAC division with Ford this year, who right now is the class of the entire MAC conference in girls basketball. So at 15-1, did my research, Brad.
I can see that. I'm impressed.
Don't expect too much, though.
You came to play tonight. You always do, Jeff. You always come ready to go. Donovan Weatherly, hoist, can't hit. Colpert, numbers here for the Cougars. A little 5-on-1 drop-off. Can't finish at the rim. Trent Morin. And now a Hail Mary pass, and then a swat on the other end by Washburn, but they're going to call a foul.
Woo, there's some athleticism here, flying around. I think that was a good call, though. Looked like he might have got a little body on him. He might have got all ball, but you can definitely see he definitely knocked him off track. So he had to at least get him with a little bit of body there, Brad.
Going to send Brownlee to the line.
We don't have the benefit of instant replays, although we technically don't have the benefit of instant replays on most nights, Brad. It's not football season.
No, you typically pull out all the stops during football. An offensive rebound there for Lance Creuse. Shot no good. Owen Colpert comes down with it. And Cougars need some points. They haven't scored here in the second quarter. 2.5 minutes gone by.
They came out flat, and Lance Creuse came out firing, and now that's why they have a 4-point lead. So Dakota's really got to get it going here as they got Williams on Colpert.
And this has kind of been the Dakota offense at times. The ball kind of gets stuck around the perimeter. Lance Creuse trying to counter that size advantage. And there's a good find. Alfred underneath the basket.
Yeah, you get the ball on the big man. He draws a crowd, and you let Alfred cut the baseline and did a nice job there of finding the basket on the reverse layup. But, you know, like I said, you might say to yourself, well, why don't we see that every time? Well, that's a good question. I'm sure that's something Coach Toko's tried to work on the whole season, too. Oh, man.
I wondered when that was going to happen.
Well, yeah, my roster's down in the parents section now, so I'm going to be winging it. I just woke up a few parents several feet down in front of me. It did not glide onto the court like the paper airplanes you see in college basketball, though, Brad.
Colpert's shot misses short, gets his own rebound, powers it up. He'll shoot two. Yeah, you're kind of going loosey-goosey there with that roster over. We're high above the arena here tonight on top of the track, and you're kind of going loosey-goosey with it, and you let it go.
We're in those Uger seats, and I paid the price.
After I gave you all the credit in the world not that long ago about coming in prepared. And
that's why I never ran the ball, Brad. I was a blocker. Fumble Ruski there.
Colbert knocks down
that would
the
have been
first.
Something if I'd have dove after it, though, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah, it's quite a ways down.
That's a long ways down.
Yeah, that would have probably resulted in a closed head injury.
I definitely would have made a thought at maybe some bleacher replacements.
I wonder if the game would have continued.
I don't even know if it would have stopped.
21-19 after both makes by Owen Colpert. A little three-quarter court pressure now by the Cougars.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times, the 1-2-2 half-court trap of the Cougars, but nice ball movement there by the Lancers.
And terrific drop-off by Miles Burnett. Jimmy Tamburini. So George Wood's not afraid to dip deep into his bench here tonight. Colpert still trying to get on track here. B.J. Jackson able to track down that loose ball. Kelvin Watson holds the ball high above his head, picks up the dribble, goes back to Jackson, too tall for him. Some sloppy play right now out of the home team.
Yeah, and Lance Creuse just keeping everybody in front of them, and they're doing a nice job of just, making Dakota turn it over, and they still are enjoying that 4-point lead.
And got a double dribble.
Yeah, it looked like Jackson knocked it out of his hands. He didn't.
That was Miles Burnett, in case you're wondering, Jeff.
Thank you. I can't see it down there, but I'll. I fumbled.
Lorenzo Alfred. Nathan Washburn, that's not where you want the big man.
No, you want him under the basket, especially when he's got so many inches up on his guy guarding him. And we talked about that earlier.
No good. Tapped around. There's Washburn from the paint. He knocks it home.
He's going to feast inside. I mean, you got no one on that team nowhere near his size, and you got to exploit that. They're going to have to double him, which is going to leave guys open all night long.
Washburn had a terrific game over in Kalamazoo. We mentioned in our last broadcast the game that he had. I think it was, 22 and 15 for the big junior. Don't forget, folks, the Dakota Cougars still have one MAC Red game left. That will take place on February 13th against Roseville. And there's Karan Williams.
And they are having a fantastic season as well. We had the game with them earlier this season against Chippewa Valley, and they looked the part. They were absolutely fantastic.
Jackson between the circles, into the corner for Watson. Got his defender up in the air. Jackson squares away, misses long. Culprit comes down with the offensive rebound, and he's hacked in the process of shooting, so he will go to the line to shoot two.
Owen did a great job of using his body there to steal a guy off and get the offensive rebound. And I thought they were just going to call that as a block out of bounds. I was really shocked to see that come as a foul because the underneath guy had a better angle, but the referee on the side called the foul, and Colpart shooting too.
Now the Lance Creuse student section, they've inched their way closer to the court. In fact, a couple of those students down there are nearly on the court.
Yeah, they're almost inbounders. Yeah, I guess we're just letting it ride tonight, Brad.
Owen Colpert knocks down both. All of his points tonight, Jeff, scored via free throws. Colpert 5 points, 5 of 6 from the line.
Using that big body, get to the basket.
Ron Williams gets the screen, turns it down. Hoist from the parking lot, in and out. And another offensive rebound by one of the smallest guys on the floor, Quincy Dorsey. Drop pass to Chad Jacobs, banks it home.
Yeah, nice finish at the rim.
Cross-court pass. Watson wants the three. Gets the three.
Even yesterday, he came out and hit the first three of the game. His shots really look better over the last few games and really shooting it with some confidence.
Burnett hands off to Dorsey. Dorsey on the move. Tried to dump it down low to Chad Jacobs, and we're going to get a foul call. Going to get Kelvin Watson. Foul occurred on the floor. 5th foul against the Cougars.
You know, the student sections, Brad, are so close to the floor. I feel like I'm watching the movie Braveheart here.
Yeah, they are inching closer and closer, like we're going to have a big standoff.
Anyone's face painted down there I'm not seeing?
Perhaps the Jets and the Sharks. Owen Colpert up ahead. Alfred can't hit. It's a little assistance by Nathan Washburn, and B.J. Jackson had some choice words for the Lance Creuse student section.
I'm surprised no one's gone down there and moved them back yet. As a student section at an away game, they are way too close to the floor. And not only for the players' safety, but for theirs as well. If someone goes flying into those kids and they blow out a knee or something, I mean, that's a safety risk.
Two misses for Alfred.
Well,
battle for it, loose ball, still loose. Boy, oh boy, dog pile down there. Uh-oh, look out.
Apparently the Lance Creuse emotional support animal is better than the Dakota Cougars support animal because they got him to miss two.
And they're going to get tie up. Possession arrow favors the Lancers. Well, if you haven't tuned in this year to a CVC TV basketball broadcast,
go back and watch some YouTube games.
Shame on you. Yeah, you can do that. Chippewa Valley Cable Sports. But Jeff and I have remarked all season long about the student section here at Dakota making dog noises.
You can find it by searching Jeff Vitale, too.
Chad Jacobs fighting through it. Coach Toko talking to that far side official, seeking some clarification on something.
Well, fouls are piling up, and we made a comment about how the fouls are really favoring the Cougars. Now you're at 7-6. where pretty much everyone's shooting bonus basketball the rest of the 1 minute to go here in the half.
Good over-the-shoulder catch there by Burnett. Dorsey trying to break down the defense. Going to back it all the way down. On top the Cougar logo at center court. Karan Williams catches, goes right back to Dorsey. Big time delay here by the Lancers. No hurry, why would they? See that score of that game down in Oklahoma, varsity game that ended 4-2? Whoa, boy, that's a carry. No call.
A little bit. Oh, boy.
Karan Williams able to vacate the lane, avoids the 3-second violation. And Quincy Dorsey with the bank shot. Kelvin Watson steps into that three, no good, takes a funny bounce off the rim. Here comes Burnett. Burnett shovels a pass up ahead. Tamburini beats the clock. And the Lancers open up their largest lead of the night, 31-26 at the halftime intermission. Jeff, your thoughts on the first half of play?
That was a great transition bucket there to end the half by the Lancers. You know, Dakota came down, tried to get a quick three, and the Lancers had to get going in transition. A little Magic Johnson, no look, little off-look pass there for the layup, and Lancers are enjoying a 5-point lead, and the Cougars gonna have to find a way to start putting this ball in the basket, Brad, and get some stops. As, you know, they saw that first quarter lead dwindle, now down 5.
Lancers end up outscoring the Cougars 17-11 in that second quarter, and will take that 31-26 lead into intermission. We'll take a quick break here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television, but when we come back, it'll be the start of the second half of play.
This is a message to raise awareness of the dangers of youth use of alcohol and other drugs. These are some facts about youth prescription opioid medication misuse from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Teen abuse of prescription opioid medications has declined steadily over past years. However, young adults 18 to 24 are the largest group abusing prescription medication, including opioids, medications prescribed for ADHD, and anti-anxiety medication. Those that abuse prescription opioids are at greater risk of becoming addicted, of negative life and health consequences, of overdose, and death. Prescription opioids are chemically related to heroin. Nearly 80% of people addicted to heroin started first by abusing opioid medications. Teens that misuse prescription medication get it from their friends, from unsecured medication at their home, or from the home of a relative. Lock up, properly dispose, and never share medication. For more information on the abuse of opioid medication, visit drugabuse.gov.
Continuing coverage here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television Varsity Boys Basketball, the Dakota Cougars and the Creuse Lancers. Brad Fetters with Jeff Vitale, and Jeff, Creuse Lancers have come in and have captured a 5-point halftime lead. A little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, they got a couple quick baskets, but they've really kind of turned the pressure up a little bit defensively, and I think, you know, Dakota just got to kind of take their time and really execute on the offensive end. I think that's been the problem for the Cougars, but, you know, the Lancers are taking the Cougar mistakes and cashing them into points.
And there's a feed down low, and they're going to get Nathan Washburn for the travel. Kelvin Watson leading the Cougars in scoring with 8. 5 Cougars have scored in this ball game, led by Kelvin Watson. B.J. Jackson Colpert with 5, Lorenzo Alford with 6. And there's Karan Williams.
Yeah, you can't let him get that close. He's almost unstoppable at that range.
A little scoop shot there by Owen Colpert.
That's kind of what we're used to seeing. Owen Colpert starting to get it going in the second half. We'll see if that continues like it did yesterday.
Now tap out, controlled by Colpert. Tries to break down the defense, and he will go to the line to shoot a couple. He ended up 5 of 6 in that first half. The Cougars finished as a team 9 for 14 from the free throw line.
No, not a bad percentage, but really kind of what did the Cougars in the first half, Brad, was the turnovers. A lot of turnovers. You know, I saw Coach Toko walking off the floor as that buzzer went off as they gave up that fast break layup there. He was not happy, so I'm sure that was a very inspiring halftime speech.
Paint peeling in the locker room, perhaps?
I'm sure they were paying attention, let's just put it that way.
I'll offer my congratulations to the Dakota wrestling team. Captured a district title last night.
Yeah, Coach Konecki's got that machine rolling. Every year they're in they get to those quarters or the semis, and you know, just I see on Twitter almost every day someone's getting their 100th career win, and I mean, just the job he's done with that program and these kids that really work hard in their game, and you don't get to hear them that much, but boy, the Dakota Cougar wrestling program is absolutely outstanding.
Individual districts taking place this weekend. They're going to say it's a clean strip. Up ahead to Brownlee, shovels the pass up ahead, out of control. And a foul occurs. Lorenzo out for a little too aggressive. Quinn Dorsey in the...
Yeah, the Lancers don't seem to be phased. They're just continuing, no matter if the Cougars get a bucket or not, they're just coming down playing. Just kind of, you know, they play quick, they play fast, and they don't deviate from their game. And right now, they're really dictating the pace of this game, and the Cougars just have had a hard time trying to figure that out.
To me, this doesn't look like a MAC Gold team.
No.
And one would kind of even wonder how they went just 6-4 in the MAC Gold.
Well, I know they had 2 losses against Lincoln, who seems to be the class of that conference. And there's Williams from downtown.
Watson got a couple defenders up in the air, but couldn't get the shot off. And they'll dump it back out, kick it around the perimeter. VJ Jackson gonna explore the lane. Terrific drop-off pass to Nathan Washburn. Gonna need more of that. More of the inside game. And Dorsey stepped on the baseline. Absolutely. Good call there by the official, right on the money.
Yeah, great job by Jackson is using that baseline as a defender, and he basically got him so close to it, he stepped out of bounds, and the Cougars get a much-needed turnover.
Colpert cross-court pass. Alfred with the ball fake. Splits a couple of defenders, lays it in. Good aggressive take there. And George Woods, the head coach of the Lancers, wants a timeout.
Yeah, Brad Watson popped out to the corner for an open 3 and really kind of pulled that defender out a little bit. He gave him that little ball fake and was able to slip it in off the glass there. But a nice job there by Watson, spreading that defense out a little bit and giving Alfred a chance to lay one in, an easy one. Watch those papers.
Well, the Dakota girls in action tonight, playing in that all-important MAC Red White crossover tournament. They are the 3 seed, and they are taking on Eisenhower tonight. Good luck to the Lady Cougars. The winner of that game will more than likely take on Henry Ford II. Henry Ford II is just lights out, and as they play Romeo tonight, one would think Ford II will win.
Yeah, they are. Henry Ford has been at an outstanding season. So, and the Cougar Ike match is a rubber match. So the Cougars won here. I believe it was like 23, 24 points. And then they went to Eisenhower, and Ike won by 24 points. So the game is at Ike. We'll see who wins the rubber match of the season today down in Shelby Township.
Ron Williams with it. Fires the pass over to Brownlee. Holds the basketball high above his head. We'll go back to Dorsey now. Right on top of that Cougar logo at center court. Ron Williams yo-yos the basketball in his right hand. Now crosses over. Hoists up a 3. Misses short. Bounces around. Finally brought down by Colpert. Over to VJ Jackson. Will walk it up the court. Gets it across the timeline. Now puts on the brakes just a little bit. Bounce pass to Alfred on the right wing side. Being guarded there by Brownlee. Finds Colpert into the corner for VJ Jackson. Julius Wilson applying the defense there. Jackson forced to pick up the basketball. Goes over to Washburn. Washburn will go to the right block. Can't feed him the basketball, however. That's a mismatch down low. They got the much smaller Chad Jacobs on him.
Owens telling him to get over there. Give me the ball.
Colpert backs down his defender. Little jab step. Tried to feed it inside to Lorenzo Alfred. Out of bounds. Last touch by the Lancers. 4:22 left to go. Third quarter of play. So glad you decided to tune us in. Brad Fetters alongside Jeff Vitale. Chippewa Valley Cable Television. 3 in the corner short. Washburn had it momentarily. Had it knocked out of his hands. Here comes the Lancers out in transition. A terrific find and a slam by Chad Jacobs.
They're going to get a tee. Maybe they're on the floor.
The 6'3" senior captain. Pogo sticks up and slams it down.
Well, that brought the student section to their feet.
Oh, there's a pocket pass inside, and Alfred can't finish at the hoop. And it's saved, crashing to the floor. A 2-on-1 and a carry.
Now Macomb Township's finest backing up the student section a little bit. They're describing what happened to the police officer.
Kelvin Watson misses short and hits the top of the backboard. Yeah, they did a little reenactment of the dunk. I saw that. I believe they used the police officer perhaps as a defender there.
Careful, you're going to get out of here in handcuffs.
Yeah, there you go. Look out.
Well, this gym has hit a different atmosphere out of that dunk and has really kind of charged this Lance Creuse team. And Dakota's going to have to find a way to slow this down for this game to get out of hand. That's just the last thing you want to have happen.
0-on-0. Watson going to be guarding Dorsey here. And contact made there by Trent Morin.
This young fella's got some smooth moves on the basketball court. He knows how to use his body. He's strong for playing football. And obviously you can see football has definitely helped his basketball game. Knows how to use his body and just kind of work his way around the basket. And he's getting awarded with 2 free throws here.
Cash is in the first.
Not to mention the athleticism. He made that dunk look easy.
Yeah, and he's only 6'3".
Right.
And he had a defender on him. It wasn't like he was wide open. When we see most high schoolers throw it down, he had a defender draped on him.
Yeah, the breakaway dunk, so to speak. A little 2-2-1 full court press.
Oh, nearly a tap away from behind there by Julius Wilson. The freshman thought he had a clean steal. It's Wilson's third, team's second. Okay. Coach Toko trying to mix and match these lineups. He's trying to find the right combination. As Matt Wooters absolutely got destroyed, no call, and now another turnover as Alfred unable to handle the pass.
Ian tried to go for the ball. He chested him in the shoulder and knocked him over inches from the official, and no call at all.
Now, give the Lancer faithful a lot of credit. They have come out in numbers here tonight, and they have made some noise. This is a very lively and festive gym tonight, thanks in large part to the visitors.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the left side of your TV screen, the student section out big. And then, of course, behind the scorer's table is a bunch of parents. And then over here,
yeah,
I mean,
scattering
all
of
over
folks
the place.
in front
you
of
see
us.
A lot of the Creuse T-shirts. It's Karan Williams' family sitting right in front of us. So, yeah, they are out here. They know this is a big game and can really kind of give a nice little resume there to their team on having a legit season. Look out.
Intercepted. Chad Jacobs using those defensive instincts there from the football field to his advantage. Nearly had the pick six, couldn't finish, but will go to the line to shoot a couple more. And don't look now, but this Lance Creuse lead has swelled up to 8 points.
Well, that's what that press does. I actually use the same press at the middle school level. It gets teams to throw long passes, and if you got the right people playing center field, so to speak, you can kind of bait them into throwing those long passes and get easy picks and transition buckets. That's exactly what had happened there, and you got to get somebody in the middle to break that pressure up a little bit, or you're going to struggle with the athleticism of this basketball team.
So it's a 1-for-2 trip to the line for Chad Jacobs, 43-34. 2:22 left to go in the third. Mike Wooters up ahead, Owen Colpert finds Trent Morin, and he has a shot blocked. Oh, boy. Look how upset Coach Toko is. I assume he wanted a little more of an aggressive take there by Morin.
I think so.
Colpert slashes and hits. Little finger roll.
So we've seen the second half. He's come alive in the last several games for the Cougars. He's going to need to do that again today as they are struggling to put the ball in the basket.
Here comes Karan Williams. Look out. Matt Wooters going to get called for the hold rather than a held ball. They're going to get him for the foul. The intensity in this gymnasium has ratcheted up quite a bit. Fadeaway jumper wide. And it's Watson that comes down with it, deflected out of bounds. Zero, Kelvin Watson, it's inbound. Matt Wooters barks out the play call, directs traffic. Nearly lost control of the basketball. Here comes the double team now, and contact made. A little too aggressive that time was Quincy Dorsey.
He's gotten away with a couple of those, but he did not get away with that one.
He will come out. Salim Fleming will check in. Colpert. There's a buzz right now as Colpert misses long. Karan Williams out transition. He's fouled there by Kelvin Watson.
Got to that baseline. Watson fouled him. I mean, didn't need to foul him there. He was kind of a little out of control. I don't think he was really in rhythm when he took that shot, and you bailed him out with 2 free throws as you're trying to climb back into this game. And you put a very good player on the free throw line, and you're just going to keep climbing uphill.
Has gone about his business here tonight, to say the least. That was point number 17. And 18. He's going to check out, replaced by Julius Wilson.
Going to use that minute 17 to get a little rest and then get him in for the stretch run.
VJ Jackson. 70 seconds remaining. Hoists up the three, can't hit. Pinballs all the way out. Owen Colpert thought about it, explores the lane, gets his own rebound, goes up strong, no call. And Trent Morin, rather than rip it down, tried to go right back up with it. Coach Toko wanted a foul call.
I'm going to call an offensive foul on 35.
They sure are. Perhaps a makeup call?
Yeah, because I think he had position. I don't think that was an offensive foul at all, but he wasted no time in calling that. Okay.
Under a minute left. 40 seconds, in fact. Wooters just not falling right now for the Cougars. Brownlee, right wing side. Crossover, shimmy, shimmy, shake. Tried to go off the very high glass, couldn't get it to go. Tie up there, strong defense, the save made. But the ball comes all the way out to Mike Wooters. Jackson with plenty of time, lays it up, lays it in. Plenty of time. 8 seconds. Lancers, in fact, will slow things down. Burnett draws the double team. Able to pass out of it. Brownlee lost control. Buzzer will sound, and they will not add time onto the clock, so that will do it. Lancers in front of the Cougars, 45-38, our score.
The student section down there is still telling the referees what happened on that dunk. Got to get over that. That was a while ago now. It was impressive, but that was a while ago. And you're up 7. And if I'm in the huddle right now at Lance Creuse, I'm saying, hey, don't change a thing right now. They got to keep chasing us, keep putting the pressure on them, keep attacking. I wouldn't change a thing right now for Lance Creuse. In the other huddle, if I'm Coach Toka, I'm like, listen, we got to execute better and we got to play a little bit better defense. You know, we got to start playing a little bit more disciplined basketball and get these guys to move the ball a little bit more, maybe create some turnovers.
We mentioned Dakota will play out of the Port Huron North District. Anchor Bay, we're currently at 8-9, third in the MAC Blue. Port Huron 10-7, but 8-2 in first place in the MAC Silver. And then, of course, Port Huron Northern, the MAC White champions at 15-1 and 10-0. As for this Lance Creuse team, if you're a fan of the Lancers, you'll be traveling down to St. Clair Shores. They'll play out of the Lakeshore District. Chippewa Valley, probably the cream of the crop there in that district, playing out of the MAC Red. Fraser, MAC Blue team, along with Lakeshore and Sterling Heights.
Make note, if they play like this, they are very capable of winning that district.
Yep, this Lance Creuse team, yes. More than likely, one would think it'll come down to Chippewa Valley and this Lance Creuse team. Boy, that would be quite the feather in the Lancers' cap if they are able to beat not only Lance Creuse North, but if they're able to come away and win here tonight against Dakota and then take care of business in that district. That would be 3 wins over MAC Red teams.
And a huge road win, too. So,
but a lot of basketball here yet to be played. Battle for it. Up ahead to Colpert. Straight away, lays it in. Miles Burnett thought about it. He thought about perhaps blocking that shot. He thought perhaps maybe I should foul Owen Colpert. Instead, he did neither, and Colpert was able to lay it in.
Well, 2 stops already by Dakota, and here they go. Oh.
Lancer fans aren't going to be happy with this foul.
Yeah, it's getting a little physical, but referees are trying to do their best to kind of keep control of this game, but they've kind of lost it already a little bit. But you're down 5 right now. This is a big possession for the Cougars.
Bucket here would go a long way. There's the feet of the post. The double team comes. Lorenzo Alfred straight away. Over to the left wing side, VJ Jackson. One of these is going to have to fall eventually, right? Oh, what a putback by Alfred. He spiked it home.
Karan Williams turned around like, you got to be kidding me.
We saw a goofy bounce the other night in the Dakota girls game. That was Gracie Maloney, I think, off of her head.
It was actually her hand, but it did. She had clarified that for me when they came to do a practice with us. So,
and there's a steal. Colpert out in transition. Finger rolls it home. Lance Creuse needs a timeout.
Oh, here comes the Cougar student section.
A 6-0 run to start this 4th quarter for Dakota. They are within 1, 45-44.
And who's leading the way?
Owen Colpert.
It's kind of what we've been used to seeing this season. He is Mr. Second Half, and he's starting to do so right now. 15 for the game.
Yes, sir. 10 in the second half. Boy, if we can only get Owen Colpert to come out of the locker room on fire the way he plays these second halves.
Maybe you can put like a special goggles on him that only show like 3-4 the whole time at the quarter mark.
Some blinders or something like they put on racehorses.
You know, the senior on his final game on this floor, showing why he's been such a force for this team.
Donovan Weatherly, another football guy. He's going to play next year at Dayton. Flat-footed deuce, no good. Alfred, interception, but a blown land. Jackson up ahead, look out. Boy, oh boy, Dakota's got to value the basketball.
And that's what the Lancers want to do. They got the Cougars playing a little faster than they want to play, and that's exactly where Lance Creuse is right at home.
Cause some chaos, cause some havoc. Come away with a turnover there. The Lance Creuse student section responding in a big way. Here comes a triple from the corner. No good.
Will the freshman get up for that rebound?
A Euro step blow by.
Well, this kid can play. Oh, he has made some big hoops tonight for the Lancers.
15 points in the game for Chad Jacobs.
Quick 4-0 run after the timeout.
Nathan Washburn out top to Colpert. BJ Jackson, long range 2, foot on the line, no good. No good, turning into a jump shooting team. And Lance Creuse going backwards, and they're able to get it over the timeline. We'll slow things down with 4:40 left to go in regulation. This really has the same feel as that Grosse Pointe South game.
Yeah.
Dakota battles their way back. The other squads had the answer here tonight. Washburn goes up strong and brings the roof down.
He got it, and everyone kind of went toward the baseline because that's what the momentum was carrying everyone. And he knew right then and there he was stuffing it.
So we mentioned the MAC Red White crossover tournament coming up. Dakota still has a game with Roseville left to kind of determine whether it will be Dakota or Lance Creuse North as the four seed.
Right.
The top 4 seeds advance. Right now we know Grosse Pointe South is the 1 seed. Romeo and New Haven will be on the bottom of that top half of the bracket. Romeo and New Haven, the 2 and 3 seeds out of the white. On the bottom half of the MAC Red-White crossover tournament, Port Huron Northern will be the 1 seed. Eisenhower the 4 seed. The 2-3 matchup on the bottom half of the bracket will be Roseville and Chippewa Valley. It will obviously be a road game for Dakota. If they were to qualify, they will have to travel to Grosse Pointe South. A little floater.
It's moves like that, which is why he's headed to Grand Valley. Not many kids can do that under control and cash it in, and he did it. Another big basket because you keep making Dakota catch you.
Watson eyed the 3, instead dumps it down low to Colpert. Adjusts the body. Doesn't get the foul call. Coach Toko beside himself. Karan Williams in motion. Long shot equals a long rebound. A little spin move through the lane. And now the offensive rebounds beginning to pile up here for the Lancers. And finally the ball comes all the way up to the scores table. Look out! Karan Williams collides with the scores table and takes out the power. They lost power on that side.
I think he broke the scores table. He was flying after that ball.
Well, I think he might have put a dent in it at the very least.
Yeah, he might have taken the plug out. They'll get a chance to reset it. They're doing that right now, but
talk about battling for possession.
Cougars just trying to find some continuity offensively right now.
Watson for 3, ring it up. (51-49). 2:50 to go. What a game here tonight. Williams can't hit. Tapped out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars.
Yeah, Washburn just couldn't handle that. Got to grab that with 2 hands. You know, every rebound, you're getting bumped, you're getting hit. You got to really be physical with those rebounds. Look at this box out.
Unbelievable find there. Chad Jacobs.
Yeah, the freshman running his mouth. That's what he was doing. The ball went in the basket. They kind of got tangled up. And as Alfred was looking at him, 21 was running his mouth to him, and he got a tee. That was an easy call.
And more importantly, that will also go against the team total, so that will give the Creuse Lancers their 6th team foul, so bonus basketball now the rest of the way for the Cougars. They're going to put Watson on the line to shoot the free throws. He's a perfect 2 for 2 here tonight. Make it 3 for 3.
What that does, too, in a 4-point game, it gives the Cougars a chance to tie the game up here in one possession.
Well, freshmen are going to make freshman mistakes at times, and
that was definitely a freshman mistake. Remember, he was playing middle school basketball last year, and I don't think there was anybody he couldn't move, and he tried to move Lorenzo, and that wasn't happening. And I think he let him know about it, and I don't think he liked it.
So here we go. Cougars can take the lead. Watson misses short. Jackson comes down with the offensive rebound outside to Alfred. Tries to drive to the right-hand side. Dumps it over to Watson for 3 in the lead. Bingo!
Well, that's the loudest we've heard this place in a long time, Brad.
54-53. Kelvin Watson with 8 points here in the 4th. Little spin move, the double team, the fallback, the basket, and the fall.
How'd he hit that?
Jacobs falling to his butt.
Wow. I mean, he just got slammed backwards. This launched it, hit center square, and it goes right in. Wow.
He's got 19, including 11 here in the second half.
Yeah, he's had himself a ball game. He's been a nice compliment to Williams. That's really helped the Lancer 1-2 punch for sure.
The 2 senior captains getting the job done here tonight for the Lancers.
You expect that from Williams, but I really, he's been that X factor tonight. And he's done all the dirty work inside.
Missed free throw. Jackson slams on the brakes, goes back to Watson. Not real good spacing there for the Cougars, so they'll reset. 55-54, 1:44 left to go. The double team, the triple team, the step through. Oh, how did Washburn do that?
That's a nice post move right there. And now back and forth. Now the heavyweights, they're just center ring, just slugging it out with haymakers. It's like that new slap boxing sport.
Williams. Basketball in the left hand. Colbert coming out to defend. 80 seconds left. Williams into the corner. Weatherly for 3, no good. Offensive rebound by Wilson. Back out to Williams, 3, in and out. B.J. Jackson rips it down. Cougars with a 1-point lead. 65 seconds left. Lorenzo Alfred, Coach Toko wants a timeout. He's gonna get it. 1:01 left to go in regulation. Cougars lead by 1.
Yeah, Lance Creuse coach is kind of telling him you didn't need to shoot that, you needed to kick it. He wanted something a little different there than that 3-pointer. You know, now the Cougars, you know, you foul here because you put them on the line for a 1-on-1. Obviously, you don't have to shoot it. You got the lead. You can work it for a good shot. You know, sometimes some coaches like to wait about 15, 20 seconds, see if you can get a steal since it's a 1-possession game. There's a lot of things Lance Creuse can do here right now. You know, Dakota's had a lot of turnovers tonight. Do you try to get them to turn the ball over and possibly not have to foul right now? So, a lot of variables in play here, Brad.
What a basketball game here tonight, as good as advertised.
Yeah, I mean, very good basketball game. Lance Creuse has played outstanding. And you know, the Cougars, after being down big, answered big, got 3 players in double figures for the Cougars, almost 4. And, you know, that dynamic duo of Jacobs and Williams for the Lancers right now, it's playing outstanding. But yeah, I know we talked about the freshman making that tee, but he had a big offensive rebound down here. Freshman's not playing like a freshman. This is a very good Lance Creuse basketball team that when you're in that district over at Lakeshore, you better come to ball because they are playing pedal to the metal. Kind of reminds me of the little old, I mean, obviously not the star power the old Runnin' Rebels used to have in the 90s, but kind of built that same way, and they're going to foul V.J. Jackson.
Quincy Dorsey in the backcourt. I don't know, perhaps was that them anticipating that V.J. Jackson was going to catch that basketball in the backcourt?
I don't know. That's his 3rd foul, and he's coming right out.
Well, It didn't allow any time to come off the clock. 1 second ticked off.
It's a big one-on-one.
Jackson can make. But it's Colpert that came away with a rebound. And you probably foul Jackson again, do you not? Oh, they nearly came away with the steal. Oh, the Cougars. Got to be careful, and then they turn it over. Williams, and that's a good foul there by Kelvin Watson. Oh, boy, Dakota.
Boy, Williams saw that coming from 50 feet away, and he was already in that lane. He jumped that, was gone, and you knew he wasn't giving it up.
Cougars telegraphed that pass.
Oh, oh. Look at the student sections up on the floor. I mean, this is crazy. We haven't seen this all season.
No, feels like a Friday night. So it's a split at the line for Williams, 56-56. 45 seconds to go. This is what it's all about. MHSA basketball, MAC basketball at its best.
Both teams are in the bonus right now. Struggling to hit that first one, so the one-on-one right now really kind of hasn't been a factor, but any fouls, both teams are going to the line. You got to go with Owen. I mean, you got to get the ball to Colpart right now. You know they're going to double him, so everyone's got to be ready either to catch and shoot, catch and drive. You know, Washburn's made some big moves at the basket tonight. There's a lot of options. You just got to watch those long passes because the Lancers are jumping everything.
Now, put your coaching hat on for a second.
It's
if you're the
on.
Cougars, head coach Paul Tocco, how do you play out this remaining 45 seconds?
I've never been a big fan of the stall just because it leads to most of the time a turnover. I would just say run your offense like you normally do it. Look to get a good shot at the basket, or if you can get a mismatch with Owen Colpart maybe on a switch. The Lancers look like they're going to come out in a 1-2-2 3-quarter court. So again, you got to be careful of those long passes. Maybe get one of your guards in the middle there, which is where you want to get in the zone press.
They're not going to defend the inbound pass. That's Colpert over to Jackson. Got to get it over to the timeline. Alfred, the Colpert, 31 seconds left to go.
He's calling out a play right now.
Near steal, Watson, pull up, jumper, short. And last touch by Dakota. And Watson thought he was hammered.
Well, now you got to play defense. It's a tie game.
It's going to be Karan Williams to bring it up. 15 seconds left, and the Lancers call a timeout. It'll be a full 60-second timeout.
Any idea where this is coming? Who it's going to?
Karan Williams, Mr. Grand Valley.
One thing you got to be careful of, though, is even if he's off, you got to find number 2 around the rim.
Chad
He's
Jacobs.
killed you all night. He's killed you all night. So you really got to be aware of number 2 around the rim, too. He's done a nice job of collecting all that loose change around the basket.
Now, if you're Lance Creuse, you look up, you got 14.6 seconds in which to operate. Lancers on the road. Do they hold for one final shot?
Yeah, you may see them try to get going somewhere about 6 or 5 seconds left to get a shot, maybe a chance at an offensive rebound putback, or first available. I mean, I think right now, if you're the Lancers, you know, you're in here, you're in Dakota's place, you're tie game with 14 seconds left. You got house money right now. Let it rip. That's what you've done the whole season. There's no reason to be conservative right now. I mean, you're getting into your MAC tournament time in your district. Your season's winding down. Don't hold back. Let it go and see what happens.
So it'll be Julius Wilson, the freshman, to inbound. They're going to put Kelvin Watson on the inbound. And they float up a pass. It's a dangerous one to Jacobs. He's able to catch. It's stripped. And it's going to be a foul call on Owen Colpert.
Look who caught the ball.
Chad Jacobs.
Yeah, Washburn was a millimeter away from getting that steal. He goes to the basket and get the slap foul. Now he's getting 2. Forget the one-on-one.
And now Coach Toko will take a timeout.
Maybe trying to draw something up if he misses the second free throw.
This will be just a 30-second timeout.
He's got 2 left, so you can get it to half court and call a timeout, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Well,
and Jacobs from the line tonight, Brad. What is 3 out of 5?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
Missed his last free throw.
He's missed 2 of his last 3.
I mean, he's been the unsung hero for the Lancers tonight.
Absolutely.
You expect that from Williams. He's been outstanding tonight. If I give a player of the game award, it's going to be to him. He's done a lot of dirty work.
The unsung type stats.
You know, and this team that plays a few divisions down has not taken one step back from the Dakota Cougars.
Nope.
Not one.
Nope. They've taken every punch on the chin and counter-punched it right back. For the lead. It's good.
Didn't hit any piece of iron on that rim.
Nothing but nylon.
Cool as the other side of the pillow.
All right, Mr. Dan Patrick.
Both of them.
Both are good. B.J. Jackson. And a timeout. It was a late whistle.
Wow. As soon as Jackson made that right-hand turn, Coach Toko was screaming. He saw it coming. Almost like he was a fortune teller.
Well, he's been in enough of these games to know. And sometimes you have that sixth sense.
You know, Brad, if you ever go knock on a fortune teller's door and they ask who is it, go somewhere else.
That's tremendous advice, Mr. Vitale. That's a terrific life lesson that I will take with me.
You're welcome.
For the end of time.
It might be a psychic. I think I killed that joke, but you know, it's what I do.
58-56. 9.2 seconds remaining.
And this game has had just about everything.
Cougars do have one timeout remaining.
Well, be ready. I think if you're Lance Creuse, you try to double two, maybe quit a quick steal. They usually come from the backside and try to get a backside swipe, so look for that. You're going to have to get the ball out quick. You're going to have to keep your head up, too, because, again, Cougars have kind of been throwing those long passes all night, and Lance has really been feeding off it and picking that off.
It's going to be a tough pass because it's going to come from in front of the Lance Creuse bench. Alfred to get the ball in, and he threw it out of bounds.
Got a foul now.
Look out, Chad Jacobs, and one.
Washburn
10 points for Jacobs in this quarter.
He was trying to foul him, but by the time he fouled him, he was at the rim and laid it in. That pretty much puts the game away. If you're Lance Creuse right now, you're telling your team, don't foul. Let them go the length of the floor and lay it in. Because when they lay it in, the clock's going to run, and even if they lay it in, the game's over.
Well, Cougars could take their final timeout. 23 points for Jacobs. And Culprit comes down with the rebound. And Weatherly with the intercept. And Chad Jacobs celebrates with the student section. Tough loss here tonight on the home floor for the Dakota Cougars. Final score, Lance Creuse, Lancers 60. Dakota Cougars 56. Dakota falls to 6-10. The Lance Creuse Lancers improved to 13 up and just 4 down. Jeff, your thoughts here tonight?
Got to give up to the Lancers. They mucked the game up. They got the Cougars playing fast. They capitalized on every turnover they got. They made some huge plays down the stretch. The 1-2 punch of Jacobs and Williams, 23 points apiece. Lance Creuse walks out of here with a 4-point win, and got to take their hats off to them. This is a tough bunch, and they're not going to be an easy out in the district playoffs.
Going to be back to the drawing board for the Dakota Cougars. They're going to have some time off to think about this game. They will play Roseville to wrap up their MAC Red season next week. Then they will turn around and play the very next night. Back-to-back road games as they will travel to Bloomfield Hills to take on Brother Rice. And then 2 days later will be the MAC Red-White crossover tournament game. So a very busy stretch for the Cougars coming up.
Yeah, Brother Rice is one of the top players in the state. They're a very good basketball team. And it just doesn't get easier. You know, Coach Toko loves to stack that schedule up, get them ready for districts. But, you know, obviously, you know, and I know Coach Toko knows it. You know, we've talked about this a couple times. There's some things this team's got to clean up if it's going to make a run in districts. And by no means is it going to be easy.
So once again, your final score from Dakota High School. Lance Creuse Lancers come in, steal one. Final score 60-56 for Jeff Vitale and our hard-working CVC TV crew. I'm Brad Fetter saying goodnight. We'll see you next time right here on Chippewa Valley Cable Television.